nothing but Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, switches to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young, back to throw. In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 15, the 10. He dies. Touchdown, 49ers.
11's 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. Smith on third down. He will take it himself for first down. And more. Alex Smith is in. Touchdown.
His left hip. Third down. Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in the post. And it's good. Touchdown. Touchdown 40. It is second down. Ryan takes the snap. Goes to plant to the left side. It's Russell. Intercepted. The 49ers pick it. And Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for a touchdown. No greater redemption.
Kaepernick gets it. Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown.
Yeah. Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we're here to bring you guys a quick hitter, a fun-filled show, because we have to make up for what we missed yesterday. Now, I apologize about that, guys. Been super busy with the new job. Everybody's been super, super busy, but we are here. We did not forget about you guys. Damn it, we got a quota to hit, and we're going to hit it. Brian, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Oh, good, man. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know, before we do, I got to ask you about the weather out there. What's going on with you, man? Because everyone's getting snow everywhere all over the world, it seems like. And, you know, I just got to know how my people are doing.
Oh, we're good. We're getting plenty of snow. We got another probably 6 inches today. But, you know, being up in the elevation, it melts just about as fast as it shows up. So.
Oh, that's good. So you guys get 6, but it doesn't stick. It's not staying around.
Well, yeah, we'll get 6 to 10 inches in a day, and then it'll melt down to 3 or 4, and then at night it freezes into a solid sheet of ice. So, you know, but the roads are clear, so that's all that really matters.
Yeah, man. You know, I got up this morning for work. I was supposed to go to my old job, turn in the tablet and phone because today's officially my last day at the old job, right?
Right.
And then I get up, I go outside, and I know like I have my new company van in the back of the driveway, my personal car in front of the driveway. So I got to move the personal car out. I got to walk back, get the work van and drive that onto the street, drive the personal car back in. So I get outside and I'm like, man, like the whole front windshield is like the ice. Like you can't see through it at all. So
Right.
like, all right, start the car up. I turn the heat on high and I just walk away. You know what I'm saying? Like I just leave it there. Boom. And then you're a dick. Damn, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I leave the car there. I start the work van, turn the defrosters on there, get the shovels and everything so I can clean off the snow because we got about 6-7 inches or whatever out here. When I walk back to the car in the road, no, I'm sorry. I drive the van out, I pull it out. I walk back to the car in the road and I realize that the whole street is like ice. Like, I don't know, like you said, if it melted and then just froze overnight or what, but like the road was so like crazy with ice. I was like, damn, I'm not going to make it out of here. I'm not kidding. It took me about 4 minutes to get like off my block to the other block and then to the main road. And it's not a lot of distance at all. It was just so slippery and slick out here, man. So, you know, it's just weird to see how the elements play. Needless to say, I didn't go to the old job. I just went to the regular job, man. But It's crazy. I hope everyone's going through it out there or being safe If you guys are in Texas, wherever you guys are watching from, have you seen the pictures from what's going on in Texas?
Yeah. My sister actually lives in Fort Worth, so they're having to deal with the rolling brownouts or whatever is going on down there.
Did you call it brownouts?
Yeah. Not blackouts, it's brownouts when they're rolling. Maybe it's a West Coast thing. I don't know. It's when they move. Well, it's instead of losing power completely like a blackout. Brownout is when they like rotate sections of like in California, it's a big term because they'll use it for when, this area of town will have power from X hours to X hours, and this power hour, they rotate it so everybody's not out of power for the entire, 24 hours in a day or for more than a day. Yeah, they're called rolling brownouts.
And they do it on purpose.
Right. Like when they are going into power conservation for whatever reason down there and they're dealing with droughts or whatever they're dealing with. It's just a term that the guys that I know that live down there, they use it all the time. So I just figured it was universal, but maybe it's a West Coast thing.
I can honestly say I never heard of it. I see people commenting on the news stuff. Yeah, my kids took care of me for Valentine's Day, believe it or not. Some stuff arriving from the babies. All kinds of nice stuff for Valentine's Day. My daughter hooked me up. Daddy, happy Valentine's Day. That's from the babies.
Nice.
So, it is what it is. I love that they take care of us. No, I've honestly never heard of that. But it is what it is. Like I said, everybody out there, if you're dealing with the stuff in the elements, please be safe. Mark Leamer gives us the contribution. He says, greetings from Phoenix, where it's 66 degrees. Oh, he's rubbing it down. Okay. I see what's happening here. All right, Mark. 66 degrees and a lot of sunshine there.
Yep.
It's all good, man. And if you guys are out there and you're enjoying it, do what you got to do. But let's get to these formalities and we're going to get down to the show because we have a couple of things to talk about today, man. So if it's your first time here on the YouTube page, we want to thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the show. Also, tell someone else about us. Be like, hey, yo, I saw these crazy guys talking about snow for the first 7 minutes of their show. I don't know why they were doing that, but that's what they decided to do. Stop by and check them out. They're Nothing But Niners on YouTube. So make sure you let them know. And then also turn on your notifications. We do bring you guys breaking news videos all throughout the day, anytime some breaking news happens with the 49ers. Give us a follow on some of our social media platforms. We have Twitter and Snapchat. Those handles are Nothing But 9 ERS. That is the number 9, Nothing But 9 ERS. We also have Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitch. And that is Nothing But Niners. That's spelled all the way out. No numbers in there anywhere, okay? I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _NFL, as you can see there. And this is my guy, Brian. He is Stater Niner _Brian. Is the font smaller? Is it because it's just two of us? Should we do the show like this? Oh, oh man, I don't know. I might have like
at least I'm not in HD, so it's cool.
Yeah, I might have some tunnel goblins or something up here. I don't want you guys that close, so no. We're gonna keep it right here the way it is. It just seems like it's smaller today. No, like is it? Maybe it's because it's only two of us. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so we always like to start the shows with the latest 49ers news. And Brian, I know you know exactly what that is. I'll put the graphic up. You can start breaking down. If I can find the graphic. Who was that guy?
Peters is the assistant general manager, not assistant to the general manager.
That's right. Adam Adams Peters. Why do I always do that? This is why I let you go first. So I didn't say Adams Peter, and I still said it.
And probably because I said Mr. Peters.
Okay. Adam Peters has been promoted to assistant general manager.
Right.
Now, previously, he was the player personnel guy. What the heck is the difference?
That's a good question. I'm not in the NFL front office area, so I have no idea what those different titles actually do. Mm-hmm. I assume what they're trying to do is give him a title promotion so that when John leaves, which may be sooner than people think, Adam will be the guy that steps right in there, even though they have to go through the whole hiring process.
Yeah. So you said it when and if John leaves, are the Niners preparing for when that happens? Because what's higher than a GM? Why would John be leaving? Let's talk about it.
No, I just think that at some point, if this franchise doesn't get its S together, somebody's going to have to take the fall. And I think John's going to be that guy because I don't think it's going to be Kyle. And if they do, great. and they get to another Super Bowl, I think John retires after that and is just done.
Oh, so you think this was just like an itch for John?
I think this is a preemptive strike so that they have a replacement for when he decides to go. Because he didn't seem like when Kyle got his extension, and then it took a while to get John's stuff done this last year. I got the feeling that he wasn't all 100% in. Like, he's in to do the job, but like it's not something he wants to do for a long, long time. He's not going to be like Jerry Jones, hang out for his entire life. I mean, it's a different scenario because he owns the team, but I think that that's just my thought process is that he'll be there for a while, and if they win, then he's going to go. And if something happens with the team and they're still not able to get their stuff together, then I think that he'll be the one that takes the fall for that. And I think that'll be okay with John, because I think that's the kind of guy he is.
Wow. This is weird. Now, the Niners just extended John Lynch and Kyle.
Right.
They just extended John Lynch. Who do you think makes a decision to promote a guy like Peters?
I think that's a discussion that happens between John Lynch and Jed York.
Okay.
And Jed York makes that decision formally.
Mm-hmm. But if it's a discussion between the two, that means John had to have agreed to hire whoever is going to be his assistant, right?
I think it's not. I think that's probably came from John. Like, we want to help Adam Peters stay within the organization. How do we do that? So let's have a discussion between him and ownership. And that's probably the decision they made, was to say, okay, let's make him the assistant general manager. That way, because we talked about it in the offseason, and I know that Tony had talked about it too, about pushing, John into like a different role and then promoting Adam Peters to being the GM. But I don't remember exactly what role that was going to be, whether that was president of operations or what it is.
Okay, I got you on solo screen just so I
don't
can
like that.
highlight. I'm sorry for your background. I had to see what was going on here. I see all the names in there. All right, I had to pop in really close just so I could get the full.
Yeah, it's a season old, but it is what it is.
Well, I mean, the only giveaway that it's a season old is Sanu.
Yeah, and I couldn't find one shot where his name wasn't in the middle of everything. So it was just like, well, I just put it on there.
I think that's the only one, man. I like that. I like it a lot. Back to Adam Peters. I'm happy with the promotion. He is the one guy that we didn't want to see go somewhere. He was also the one guy that we thought we were going to lose from the 49ers front office this year. And it's happy. Not only did we retain him, he got compensated a little bit. That lets me know that there were teams that did come knocking. After if you're going to promote a guy to keep him, you do it before the hirings and the firings occur, right? The fact that it happened after tells me that he received an offer. He brought it to the team. The team said, "We prefer you stay." He says, "Well, compensate me somehow."
Right.
And this is what the corresponding move was. So he turned down whatever offer it was somewhere else to stay here, and this is what the outcome was. I think that's what this tells me.
And that with this organization, with the culture that they brought in when Shanahan and Lynch got here, it's all about the promotion of individuals within the league. It's not about, in life. It's not just about the 49ers. So if they can get someone like Adam Peters, into that role, and allow him to at least interview for those positions, then that's good for them. That shows that they're developing their talent that they have, and they're seeing that talent, identifying it, and trying to push those people to be successful rather than hold them back and say, yep, you got to be here. But I think it also paves the way forward for if and when John decides to leave. If Adam Peters is still here, then he could be pushed into that role if he wants it.
Right. I mean, it's clear that they feel like he's qualified. Like you said, he is the assistant GM, not assistant to the GM. So he's not walking around holding John Lynch's clipboard and saying, "Hey, do you want anything for lunch today?" Like, that's not his job. That's not what he's doing. So I think that's pretty cool. I really, really do. Continuing with 49ers news and rumors, we mentioned this. Let me see if I have it here. We mentioned this a while ago, and if you read the caption here, it says number 2, check, free agency loading. And this graphic got a lot of 49ers Twitter a buzz.
Sure.
All right. And people were saying, oh, Kendrick Bourne is hinting that he's on his way out the door. Well, it turns out KB had a little bit of a clapback. Did you see it?
I did not.
Oh, damn it. I don't have a screenshot. Sorry, guys. But basically, he quote tweeted something and said, guys, I can still come back. Like y'all are making stories up.
Oh, I did see that. I didn't know that was what you're referring to.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was talking about. So what is he saying that, okay, it's clear he's not saying he is coming back.
Right.
It's also clear he hasn't ruled out the option to come back.
Now, I think on his exit at the end of the season, during the exit talks they have with the coaches that we hear about, right? I think that they probably discussed the fact that they would love him to come back, but you have to understand the cap situation that the entire league's in. Go out and test the free agency, see what you can find, come back to us, and we'll go from there. And if it's something that the 49ers can't match, then, good luck to you.
Yep. And as Zach, I was going to ask you, what do you think the exit interview process was like? And, based off of what he said, I completely agree with everything you said there. We would love to bring you back, KB, but we also know how good you are. You've earned it. If someone can go out there and give you something that we can't, we would never want to keep you from that. You got to take care of your family. You got a beautiful baby. You got to do what's best for her. You're going to shine no matter where you are. We have, full faith in that. Let us know what you find. And if we can match it or whatever, we would love to bring you back. And I really believe that's it.
And he may find a situation out there that, while we have, if they can stay healthy, Debo and Ayuk and whoever else they may be bringing up, whether that's Hurd, staying healthy, or if it's Jennings that's going to get the chance, or White steps up or whatever. There may be an opportunity somewhere else in the league for Bourne to be that one or two guy instead of having to, have the more limited reps, being the number 3 or 4 guy on the team. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I absolutely get it, man. And there's a possibility, like, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not just saying this because of the how do I say this? I'm not going to say this just because of the ties to Robert Saleh, but Robert Saleh's offensive coordinator came from San Francisco, and their slot guy right now is 32 years old.
Yeah, I don't know the roster, so I can't speak to
them. They could be looking for someone, especially Bourne, because we got to remember Bourne played all 3 positions,
right, for
the wide receiver, and played it for 4 years. It's not like he was just here, or 5, 4. He played it for 4 years, so it's not like he just popped in and was gone like a Mohamed Sanu. He did it for a long time and did it at a pretty high level. So he's someone that would be an asset on the field as far as production goes, and off the field as far as being on the sidelines and helping and coaching and grooming guys. So is there any other 49ers direct rumors that you want to discuss?
No, I mean, we keep seeing the same old information getting tossed around out there. So, depending on who you watch or listen to, you're hearing different things about Jimmy. I mean, it's all the same stuff we've been talking about. So that's kind of, like I said offline, we kind of beat that horse to death, but I know that's the topic right now, and it's kind of hard to move past it until they make a decision on what they're going to do.
All right. Well, we got this one. We have this one to discuss here, so let's go ahead and break it down here. All right. This is an NFL rumor. Now, why are we going to, not a rumor, but this is official now. Well, as official as it can be right now, okay? Carson Wentz was traded from the Eagles to the Indianapolis Colts. All right. Wentz has officially been traded. He is gone. You will see him no more in the Philadelphia, that hunter green color. Why on earth would we care about this? Why would we be talking about this, Ryan?
Well, it's one more piece off the board that we don't have to talk about worrying about coming to the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
But the quarterback carousel itself for the offseason is good. Like, we talked about it all season actually, but it's going to be very interesting how things kind of unfold. But now that changes, the different, who's available. If they're still looking to upgrade, it takes another piece off the table.
Yes, I agree. One less person out there, but you know what else it does? It also takes another team out of the competition that we were so worried about, with who the Niners could be competing with for For
The gratuitous shot here. Let's go.
there it is. Let's go. For that guy right there. Yes. One less team we have to compete with for that guy right there. Now,
Even though the Colts weren't really an option because they're not going to trade him to their divisional rival. But I guess if they send him like 9 first-round picks, then they can't say no. But
right. But it is one less team to worry about. Okay. This is also one less team to worry about, even if it's not Deshaun, but in the draft, moving up and trying to, come in there and get someone that the Niners are targeting. Now, the cool thing about this trade, though, is that the Eagles kept trying to tell people, we got 2 first-round picks, but we want more. If they're already offering 2 first-round picks, that's not what they got at all. In fact, they didn't get one. They didn't get 1 first-round pick.
Right.
They have a 3 and a 2, and the 2 could become a 1 if he plays 75% of the snaps,
right,
or he plays 70% of the snaps, and they make the postseason.
Right.
So it wasn't that phenomenal of a deal. What I liked about it, though, was that you heard 2 firsts, 2 firsts, 2 firsts, and then reality set in. That gave me hope for the Deshaun Watson possibility.
Sure.
The 3 firsts, 2 players end up being a first and 2 seconds. You get what I'm saying? Like something
right.
Like
and that's what I had said a while ago. I mean, probably 2 months ago now, but when we were first talking about it, I said it's 95% in Watson's hands. If he wants to, if the Texans get 2 different offers, he could tell the Texans he wants to go the one that gives him the lesser offer. He has kind of that control, as long as he's willing to sit. If he's not willing to sit out the year, then he loses some of that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And you're right, Walter. I did say on the last show I wasn't going to post a picture anymore. Man, I couldn't help it, bro. I couldn't help it. It's possible until it's not possible. That's the way I'm looking at it, man.
Facts.
That's the way I'm looking at it. But what I will do is not harp on it, not draw that thing out there. So, but that was the news there. The Carson Wentz trade is as official as it can be. And he is now going to be playing. And you know what? I think he'll be okay over there. I think he'll be okay. He's getting back with a familiar face, the guy that was running the offense over there, and someone who believes in him. Right. Not only did he need a change of scenery, he needed people to be positive behind him,
right,
encouraging him. And what better way can a team show that they believe in you than by giving up draft capital to acquire you in that crazy contract? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think it's a solid by the team that got him. All right. So here comes another 49ers rumor.
Uh-oh.
You want to guess what this one is?
I have no idea. Another quarterback?
No, we're not doing quarterbacks here. All right. So this one is going to be a little bit more simple. It's a question to you I'm going to post here.
Sure.
Can we get Watt?
That's up to Watt.
J.J. Watt is officially a free agent. He was flat out released.
Yep.
Let me ask you this question. If you were J.J. Watt, okay, are you interested in the 49ers? Why or why not? And take your time. I didn't tell you I was going to, ask you this question or anything like this. So if you want to, kind of.
But I've been thinking about it because it's an option, it's a possibility. And I try to, anything that's a possibility, I weigh out whether I think it's not only whether or not it's something we want to happen or something I want to see happen, but whether or not the team could actually do it is another, I take both things into account when I have these discussions. But I think, yes, there's no reason why he wouldn't want to come to the 49ers because it's a contender. But to play also on a defensive line like the one that we have cultivated here, I know Salah's gone, but I think D'Amico's going to be just fine. He obviously tweeted about D'Amico when he got his promotion, so I think he's probably all about that process. But to play opposite Nick Bosa with Kinlaw and Armstead and Street and whomever, DJ Jones, if they bring DJ Jones back, whoever else they want to put in there, that's a pretty stout defensive line where you can go out and, make yourself competitive. The question would be whether or not the 49ers want Watt. That's the other side of it.
Right now, and that's the other thing too. So does the interest in Watt. This might be a trick question. Actually, before I ask this question, let me answer what I asked you.
Okay.
Can we get him? And I do think so. And I think he's played on some good defensive lines before. You trip me out every time you use that cup.
Look at my cup.
Oh my God, that is crazy to me, man. Every time you do that shit. With Watt, you know what really gets me about him is the he's played with and alongside of really good players. You know, whether it be linebackers, some people, you know, who were what's the word I want to say? They were on the juice. Okay, we know about Cushing and but he's played with really good guys, Merciless, and he's got a good unit there. And when playing with all those men, by the way, Merciless has to be the most phenomenal last name of a defensive player in the history of like NFL. That is insane to me that's his name, and like he gets to just never mind.
Hey, I like there's a safety coming out too, Diablo. I like that name too.
Yeah, you know what I'm like. See, like I try not to like guys because of their names,
right?
I mean, like that's like you got to be pulling for a guy like that, right?
Sure.
But Watt has always been like the unifying. No matter who it was, you have a star corner, you have a star wide receiver, you have a star safety, star linebacker, star defensive tackle. They all look at one guy. Guy's always on the sideline injured. Guy's always hurt, but he's always giving it 110% every time he's on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's infectious. And I think that with us losing so much on the defense this year, we might be able to use that kind of morale boost.
Sure.
You know, the tendencies. This guy has never really – I've never considered the Houston Texans a contender. I understand he had a couple playoff appearances, right? But I've never considered them like that team. Like, you got to watch out for those guys. They're the one. No, I've never looked at them that way. And so I'm wondering if, he can bring – he's carried himself as that type of person, but the team has just never lived up to the expectation of the hype.
Right.
I'm wondering if he can bring some of that juice here, some of that mojo in a year that our defense is on the defensive side of the ball. These guys might be looking around questioning, hey, do we still have it? Sherm's gone. Are we going to bring Verrett back?
I hope so.
Is Tart coming back? You know what I'm saying? Like they're going to question so much about who's going to be there and who's not going to be there.
Right.
Maybe this will be a spark that we could get. Damn. Now my question to you was going to be, so you said the thing is, do the Niners want him here?
Right.
That's what you said. So is that contingent on the availability of D Ford?
That's not why I said it. No.
Okay.
Okay, kind of. But so my thought process is this, right? The 49ers obviously are in a situation where, at least as a fan base, we feel like they got burnt in the D Ford issue. There are some contingent of the fan base that also believe that Bosa is injury prone. Would I want to bring in DJ Watt, who has a long history of having injuries also? But it also foreshadows, if Bosa continues to play like Watt does, all out 150% all the time, is that what we have to look forward to, is having a guy who's missing a couple of games every season because he plays his heart out? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's my thought process on why, when I was thinking about it, would the 49ers want him here? Like, of course, you want to bring the best competitors in that you can, but you already have a guy who has cost you millions of dollars and sat on the bench, and then you have this young guy that we just got who people are labeling as injury prone, even though I don't think that that's necessarily the case. But I can't deny the fact that he's had, in his life, 2 ACLs now and a core injury, so, but
I
when
believe
you go
he had a bicep or a shoulder thing too, right?
Something like that, like a long time, like further back.
He used to have like this thing on. Remember, he used to wear this.
Wait, I'm talking about Bosa.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, he has the elbow shoulder thing for Watt. Yeah. So I think that there's probably some hesitancy to move in that direction because of those things. But if he's the best player available, and obviously if Ford isn't able to continue, then they're going to look at every way to upgrade possible as long as it's financially feasible in our new cap situation.
Yeah. Phil Pott says there isn't a chance in hell Kyle wants another a defensive end that can't stay on the field, especially a defensive end with absolutely nothing left. Do you think Watt has absolutely nothing left?
I do not. I think he has probably 2 years left in him, but I also think that the mentorship like Sherman had, I think that he would bring that to this team. I shouldn't say had. Sherman has it. He's just, I don't think that he has the physical attributes we need anymore, so it's time to move on from him. But that leadership and that mentoring that Sherman brought to the defensive side, it would be nice to have. I know that we kind of have some in-house grown members that do that. Like, obviously, we look at Warner as one of those people. We want Bosa to be one of those people. I don't think he's there yet, obviously, because he was disconnected from the team for almost an entire year, basically. But having someone like that come in could be good for the locker room too, because you have that, that person with the presence, with the NFL DNA. It's in him. It's what he lives and breathes.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We didn't talk about this, but we probably should. Since we're talking about the defensive end position and Watt being contingent on D Ford and so on and so forth. A series of tweets came out. I believe it was from David Lombardi. I believe. I could be wrong. But it was about the contract of D Ford. And basically saying that the Niners, for all intents and purposes, are stuck with paying that money.
Right.
Unless he just flat out retires. If he retires.
Okay, go ahead and finish.
Well, no, go ahead. This is what you're
No, because I went deep dive on the retirement part of it through the NFLPA and their contract that's in the for the CBA and everything. And essentially, if somebody retires, all dead money is due now.
Oh, so he would hurt the team if he did that.
Right. And I think a lot of people are missing that part of it. But that's what it said. That, unless I'm misinterpreting it, but that's what it says, is that upon a player's retirement, I'm paraphrasing now, all guaranteed money would be due at that time, or dead money would be due at that time. So it would be against that season, unless he was to do a post-June, which is an option, but we'd still be on the hook at this point because he'd pass that April 1st mark for any injury guarantees have, but it still might open up money. It just won't be the same amount, I guess.
Yeah. So that's so strange. Like it's when you're watching this all take place with this team and how it's all unfolding, I just don't know. Maybe you figured out something when you were looking at it all. I don't know how we can move on from Watt, even if we wanted to this year. If he doesn't pass this physical, you said
Ford, you mean? From Ford.
For Ford, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I just don't see how it's possible to move on from him this season. If you have a loophole, please let me know.
Well, the only thing I've been looking at is the differences. So, when I look at the overall roster and you look at the potential to release, like Richburg, you gain an extra $4.5 million, $5 million, or something like that. If you wanted to restructure Tomlinson's deal, you get a couple of more million. There's some the COVID trio of Brendel, Benjamin, and Sean
Coleman.
If they go, that's another $3 million roughly. So there's ways for them to open up some cash if they need to. And then we've seen it in the past where, like, draft class, when they don't get signed till later in the season, and that could be something where they wait to release Ford so that after the June 1st happens, they can release and open up that money, because they don't have access. If they could say, we're going to cut you, but you're a post-June 1st, but the team doesn't have access to that capital until June 1st.
Right.
So then they could use that to sign their draft class. Because right now, just as it sits right now with the picks that we have, if they were just to not trade and take the picks that we have, it's like $9.5 million to sign that class.
That's also projecting the positions we take.
No, that's like, they don't. the draft is not by position. It's by what, like your draft pick.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
If a quarterback is taken first,
Yep. He gets paid the same amount as if a safety gets taken first.
no way in hell.
Yeah, that's the way it's set up.
No way. You're telling me that if a running back goes first overall, he gets the same exact money on his full contract that a quarterback who gets taken first overall gets.
Right. That's the way that new arrangement was when they built that. I can pull up the numbers right now.
No way. I don't believe that at all. And I could be way wrong. I've never thought about it, never looked it up. So it's not a challenge. This is shock here. This is 100% shock here. I'll read Sean's comment.
It's all dependent upon where they get drafted.
I'll read Sean's comment here. It didn't matter. Look at that. It's incredible that it didn't matter if I zoomed in on us or not. It's covering the same amount of shit on both of us. All right. You think Ford is going to be a salary cap chump for another year and give nothing? So sick of his situation. I understand injuries, but he has become a cow farmer milking it. Does he ever play again? And the truth of the matter is none of us know.
Right.
None of us know. I would love for him to get healthy and come in here and prove all of us wrong. I don't know if he can do it. And Brian, thanks for Sean, thanks for the contribution. We honestly, we just don't know. Nobody knows. And I don't think he's milking it. I think that with the kind of money that he's in, the team is doing the evaluations. The team is taking x-rays and ultrasounds and MRIs and whatnot. And I think that they see that he's injured. I don't think that you're faking your way to getting $17 million. I really, really don't. And if you listen to him speak, he's just as passionate about the sport as he was 4 or 5 years ago. So he could be selling it, but I think that he's eloquent enough to say, like, if I'm healthy enough, I'll play again. If not, then I'm cool with that too. He just hasn't said anything along those lines. So none of us have an answer on that. Let me see here. Vince has a contribution. He says, worst Lynch move, trade for Ford or Solomon Thomas pick. Is it just of those two? If we have to choose between those two, I would say the Solomon Thomas pick easily, because you couldn't predict Ford's injuries being as bad as they are. At least before, you thought you were going to get 12 to 13 games out of him. You're not getting that now. And Ford at least offered something when he was on the field. That's my personal opinion. I never thought Solomon Thomas should have been picked when he was here. I never liked him. So, that's just me. I never liked his production. It has nothing to do with the man. I don't like that we have to say that sometimes, but the Solomon Thomas as a person, I actually really like Solomon Thomas as a person.
Right. Yeah,
but,
I agree.
His contributions.
I like him as a football player, but not as a number 3 pick overall. Maybe a 3rd round.
I don't even think I would take him in the 3rd. He didn't bring anything to the table. There were undrafted guys doing what he did. There were 5th round guys.
I'm not going to deny that at all.
And it's so weird. I know why you said 3rd round, because he was a 3rd pick. Okay, I get it. I see why you did that. I was actually trying to figure out what draft pick, what round Solomon Thomas would have to be picked in for me to not be upset with his production. I think I did this on the air a year or two ago. I don't remember what I said, but I still to this day can't figure out, like, well, we got this guy for this, so it's okay. I never saw anything from him. So I don't have an answer. All right, so tell me I'm right. Come on. Are you looking it up over there? Did you find anything yet?
I'm on my phone, so I don't have all my save stuff on here. So I was trying to dig in there to find it. I can't.
Let me see.
I was able to pull up the salary. Excuse me, where to go? The salaries for each of them.
How is the draft salary
right
for NFL? Let's see here. Okay, here's an article here.
Maybe I closed it.
With 1st round rookies, teams have the right to extend a player for a 5th year. If the signing bonus is $10 million, that means 2.5 counted against each 4 years. Okay, we understand how the bonuses work. I'm telling you, I don't think that's the end. Who can I call? I want to call somebody. I want to call someone.
Yeah, it says so. I don't know where I have the other piece that was from the actual CBA, but this is from Over the Cap. They're 21 rookie cap numbers, and that's by round and pick. The salaries were assigned by pick when they put that new process together versus having to go through the old process of, putting a contract together as you did it, which would have made sense because we used to pay players a lot more because it was by position. But when they put that new process together for guaranteed rookie deals, it was all based off of where you get picked. So if you're a quarterback that gets picked at number 10, you're going to automatically make more than the running back. So, whatever quarterback got picked after Ezekiel Elliott is going to make less than Ezekiel Elliott is, just because of where they got picked.
The salary that doesn't make any sense. It can't be that.
It was part of the process for going that way because they were getting crazy with these rookie salaries, and so they wanted to change it, and that's how they did it, as far as I know.
I thought it was quarterbacks picked between 1 and 3 will get the same amount of money. Running backs, I thought that, okay, here we go. Here's the easy way for me to explain it. I thought every position had its own scale, and then that scale was based off of where you were picked. That
may be true. I have not seen that. Okay.
All right. We're gonna figure this out. And I want to find somewhere that we can show it. We don't have to figure it out now, but that's an interesting thing. Phil says Ford has got to go. We can get every game production and a 5-year rookie contract from any defensive end available at pick 12. That doesn't mean that they would be as good as a healthy Ford. It doesn't mean that. I mean, yeah, we can go and get anybody, but that doesn't really, that doesn't mean that that's the way. So I'm not, I don't know, guys. Diesel sent a blank contribution here. Thanks for the contribution. Let me see if there was another message. No, I see him. He wrote a few more things, but he didn't say if there was anything he wanted us to read. So thanks for the contribution, guys. We really, really appreciate it. I wish. Let me just see. Are all number 1 picks paid same in the NFL? All signing bonuses. No, I don't want to know about. Okay, how the rookie wage scale restricts. No, I don't want to read an article about Drew Lock. What? Look at how they tricked me with that. Oh, man. Drew Lock. Okay. People ask on Google, how much money does a number 1 draft pick make in the NFL? The rookie pool is divided among 32 NFL teams. What?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Wait.
Keep reading.
All right. This year, the contracts for first round picks range from $10.8 million for number. Hold on, wait, here we go. It's loading. I had to click on the. All right. And the winner this year is Joe Burrow, selected the Cincinnati Bengals, who were awarded the first pick after an anemic to okay. Burrow, blah, 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 blah. Meteoric rise to first round picks. Netted him a 4-year deal worth 36, including 29.3. Heed.
You're mute. I can't hear you.
All right, can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Oh man, I don't know what happened. I must have hit the space bar.
You just cut out in the middle of reading, and I was like,
so it says NFL rookie contracts are determined by a complex formula that considers the league's 2020 rookie compensation pool of $1.4 billion across all teams, as well as $198 million per team salary cap. Okay, the rookie pool is divided among 32 NFL teams based on the club's number of picks. Okay, this year, contracts for the first round picks range from $10.8 million for the number 32 pick, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to $36 million due to Burrow. All right, so that told us the range. The system was put in place in NFL's 2011 collective bargaining agreement, which severely curbed the contracts. First round picks quarterback Sam Bradford was the last quarterback to see unrestricted signing with a 6 year, $78 million deal. Okay, the following year, fellow quarterback settled for $22 million over 4 years. Right?
10-14, Diesel Elliott reposted his question.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna look for it. Let me pull that up now. 10-14, you said. All right. Sean says we have to pull a girly with Ford. Bye-bye. Just eat the loss. You know, at some point you do have to do that. Here we go. All right. So before we read this, let me look at this article here. Let me see if it actually says the system was put in. Okay, I read that part already. The signing bonus represents a significant chunk. Players will almost certainly retain 100% of their signing bonuses, even if the season is shortened because of coronavirus. Okay. First round picks typically receive 4-year contracts that include 5th-year option. 32 players selected Thursday night. Okay. This just tells me, all right, so it says total contract for Joe Burrow was $36 million. Total contract for Chase Young was $34.6. And then it says Lions Jeff Okudah, $33.5. So this is just telling me what each player made. It's not telling me how it worked. That sucks.
Yeah. So this article is basically saying the same thing. Teams have a maximum and minimum amount that can be spent on their picks based on the draft position. All contracts for draft choices are 4 years, unless you're first round, where they can extend for the 5th optional year. But it doesn't say anything about it being different based on position.
Yeah, but it doesn't not say.
You're right. It doesn't. But
man.
So Jeff Okudah, right, was picked 3rd overall.
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert and Tua, whichever one you want to go with, were 5 and 6, right?
Right.
Jeff Okudah, a cornerback, or a cap number for 2020 was $6.09 million. Tua got 5.5, and then Justin got 4.8.
Okay, so you think it's just all right.
I think it's specifically by the draft position. That's the way I interpret it. And when I look at their contracts, that's what I see. So
that is absolutely insane.
I agree. Which why I was surprised why the Players Association agreed to it.
That is nuts. That is crazy. All right. I feel like we spent a lot of time on this. All right. Diesel says, if Pats want Jimmy, should we trade him for Gilmore and a 3rd for Harry? He can rejoin Debo, learn a new spin, possibly be a number 3.
Harry wasn't Harry with Ayuk, not Debo, right? Because they're both out of Arizona State, Arizona, whatever. One of the two.
Kill Harry. Talking about, right?
Yep.
I'm assuming that's who we're talking about.
Well, to answer the question, I think that the only way that Jimmy ends up going back to the Pats is if the Niners get Watson. I think that's the only way that happens. And that's a huge ask at this point already.
All right. Whoo-wee. All right, yeah, he said he meant Ayuk. I don't think that we get all that. I don't think Jimmy is as valued as people think he is. I'll put it out there. I'll say it. That's fine. I watch I watch what Philly got for wins. Okay. All right. Let me ask you. Do you think Jimmy Garoppolo would get what Carson Wentz just pulled?
A third and a second that could be if they go to a Super Bowl or he plays X amount of time. I think you could probably get that to the right team.
I heard were both of those conditional, so like the third becomes a 2 and the 2 becomes a 1?
No. Well, at least not what I read. Everything I've read said the third is done. That's for this year's draft.
Right.
And then the 22 draft is a second that can be elevated to a first.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Okay. So back to the question then. You think Jimmy gets that?
I think that to the right team, if in fact we were in a position to go through with that, I think that if Belichick wanted him back, then yes, they could probably do that. Or if there was another team like Chicago or whatever, I think you could probably get that.
For Jimmy Garoppolo this season. I'm asking that because
coming off the injury plague season, you're right. Probably, maybe not.
Well, no, because Wentz was injured too. That's why I'm saying like anything is clearly possible here.
Yeah, I think it really depends on where he's going. Obviously, what's his name? Rich, whatever, the head coach for the Colts, right? They had a previous relationship. He was out there in Philly. That was the guy he wanted. So they're willing to pay to get the guy he wanted to an extent. They weren't going to pay what the Eagles wanted, obviously, because that was ridiculously stupid.
Right.
But he got the guy that he wanted. Now, if Belichick wanted Jimmy back, he might be willing to pay whatever price that he feels is right. A third, yeah. After he got a second for him, I think a third is probably he's had more time to see what he's got potential of. He's seen where he needs to be fixed, and then you have to take the injuries into consideration as well.
Okay.
But you also have to look at his contract. I mean, you could trade him for the third, and if things don't work out, you're still in a position where you can move on.
Let him go. Yeah. You're absolutely right. You're 100% right, man. It's crazy because you got one guy who was in the Super Bowl and, for the first 12 weeks of that season, looked like he was going to be the real deal. Then you have another guy who at one point looked like he was going to be the MVP of a Super Bowl bound team. That team did go on to win the Super Bowl, but without him, and he hasn't quite been the same since then. I think their views are pretty similar if you aren't directly in the fan base.
Right. And I try to look at it from not that angle,
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard not to be biased about things. But like I've said many a times before, and I've said it to you personally, I'm not a Jimmy G fan. I just think that the team is in the situation they're currently in. He's their best option moving forward, unless they're going to do a significant upgrade, And so that's why I personally don't think Stafford was really on the table. Cousins is a dumb choice. Darnold is not worth it to me, but to me, those are all lateral moves. And why would Darnold come here? He has LaFleur. If LaFleur doesn't want him, then Kyle shouldn't want him. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, why? LaFleur, just because LaFleur doesn't want Darnold doesn't mean that LaFleur doesn't want Darnold.
I'm just saying.
LaFleur could want.
If the offensive coordinator is like, I don't want this, then why would Kyle want that?
No, what I'm saying is, we have Darnold, but we could get Wilson, or we could get Fields, or we could. I don't know who, but I'm saying it doesn't mean that I don't want you. It means I want him more. That's all I'm saying, because they're, like it or not, they're in position.
I understand what you're saying about from the LaFleur side of it, but if he's willing to get rid of him, why would Kyle want to take him? If that's somebody that the person that was basically my understudy for offensive coordinator, right, has now over in with the Jets to be an offensive coordinator, and he is like, notice that I don't want this quarterback, or I can upgrade from this quarterback. I don't think that Kyle is going to want that person. That's just the way I look at it. Now, if you're talking about like if they end up going with Wilson or Fields or whomever's at second. I'm
about to say 10 spots in the drafts has a way of the way you look at the rest of your roster.
Well, right, exactly. But I mean, unfortunately, we can't really talk about all those things until pieces start falling into place, like we've discussed before.
Yeah. I know a lot of Niner fans that were saying, yeah, we should bring back Elvis Dumervil. Elvis Dumervil should come back as a 49er. He did a pretty good job. He got 10 sacks that year. And then, if Nick Bosa's sitting right there, nobody's talking about Elvis Dumervil.
Right.
So where you are changes the way you look at and evaluate the pieces on your roster. That's all. So it's interesting though. And I do think Jimmy Garoppolo holds more weight to the rest of the league than I give him credit for. I really, really do.
We as a group talk a lot about what Jimmy can't do. We do. These a lot of our shows, especially as of the last 4 months, what he can't do and what we need to do to change it. And what we don't talk about is what he can do or what he has done, because we haven't seen it in so long, because he had an off, he got injured and he wasn't really, and when he was getting healthy, we brought him back before he was fully recovered. And so there's a lot of aspects to that, but if you can get back to where he was in 19 or the end of, was it 17 when he first came here, those 5 games, if we can start seeing that Jimmy again, then I think that, and I assume that that's what the 49ers are seeing. Otherwise they would be having other conversations. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, man, look, let's move on. So far, No one has said it, and I haven't been watching the chat as much as I want to, but the title of this episode is Don't You Say It, and no one said it so far that I have seen. So it's pretty cool. We're going to keep this thing going here, and we're going to wrap this show up in about 2 minutes, maybe 3. But the question is free agency. That is what we're going to start to focus on here on the Nothing But Niners channel for a while. I know the draft is coming up. We'll talk about pro dates and things like that are coming, pro days for certain organizations that are going to be running them. And there's no combine this year, but they are going to do their own combine during the pro days, and they're going to send all the film to scouts and all that. So we'll break all that stuff down and we'll talk about some prospects at the right time. But for now, we have to kind of focus on the free agency period. And we talked about all the Niners free agents and all that. But I want to ask you, B, if there is one free agent out there who that you think the Niners could and should get.
Now you're talking about not someone that we have on the team, but someone from outside, because we've already discussed in-house.
Yes.
And I kind of brought this up. Well, I did talk about this before on a previous show. I think that a great get for the Niners would be Quentin Dunbar from the Seattle Seahawks, because it takes a weapon away from a divisional rival. And when you compare his numbers to the other free agent cornerbacks that are going to be coming out this year, or going to be available this year, or potentially available, his interception numbers are above the average. And his fair market value is around $8 million. And so obviously when Parag does his numbers magic, he can make that happen. So from the defensive side, I see the chats lighting up with Mac. Yeah, I would love to have Mac too, but I think that they have to fix that secondary right now. It's got to be a huge concern. There are pieces and people that we could re-sign in-house that can do the center job. Obviously we can upgrade, but if I have to pick one person, that would be the one I would want to get.
I like that. I feel like my answer is changing all the time, and I haven't. It's so weird because one day you're trying to sell yourself on, oh, we need the offensive line help, right? It's like, man, but I would love to see a dominant pass rush again. You know what I mean? We don't have any corners. Maybe we should get one of those. Who's the top safety on the market? Is Dak still a free agent? Like, it's so much going through your mind all the time that you're all over the place. But for this episode tonight, I'm going to say 26-year-old Yannick Ngakoue.
Oh, wow.
Defensive end from the Ravens. I think personally played better as a Jag than he did in Baltimore. But I think with a guy like Kosaric behind him, I think it'll be a phenomenal look.
Sounds like a dream pick though. In the when it comes to cap space, because I think that he's going to want more than
$12 million a year. That's what he was getting.
I think he's going to want more.
Nah, he hasn't earned it. He can want more, but that's not where let's see what the market value is.
Right. I think that's what a lot of things are going to come down to is there's going to be a lot of free agents who are going to bounce around doing their team checkups to see which, team they want to be with. And then they're going to find out that the value this year is not going to be as high because of the cap situation, even with the extra 5 that we got right now, and it could be more, but right now we know it's going to be 180, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that given the cap situation across the league, you only have maybe 15 teams that are in a real, not even that probably. I don't have I'll say at least maybe the top 10 teams have the ability to sign a bunch of free agents that are going to get paid. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, the rest of the free agents are going to have to take a hit or 1-year deals or something, or backloaded contracts that don't have guaranteed money in it, which a lot of these guys won't do unless they're, in their late 20s, early 30s, and they're just trying to find a home to stay at for a while. So there's a lot of pieces that go into that, but
yeah.
There's like also 10 teams that are negative in cash right now is going to have a huge effect, and that's why you're starting to see all these people being released. You're seeing all these big names like, oh, why is he being released? Well, they're cap casualties because of the situation we're in.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I just don't think that $15 million a year is a lot for a guy that's going to bring you 15 plus sacks a year.
Right, but his salary can't be $15 million this year. Is all I'm trying to say. Like, he's going to have to figure out. They're going to have to work.
Well, yeah, of course. Now, if he signs a 2 or 3 year deal and they can convert most of the bonus that they can pay out over the course of the contract, that's different. Right. But you also talked about, they're going to have to be young guys who take 1-year deals. He's only 26, so he kind of qualifies for that too. But I think I saw, might have been David Lombardi again. I saw someone talking about the idea of all the 1-year contracts. And they said that it is going to be a thing, but teams that are against the cap might not be able to do it because there's no way to move that money around.
Absolutely.
And so, that was a good point. I think that was shared in the group chat.
Yeah, I think we talked about there. And on Tuesday when we did our episode, I brought up the OTC over the cap using that salary cap calculator. And that's one of the biggest things that you can do, because I could sign Trent Williams to a $100 million deal, right, for 4 years or 5 years or whatever you want it to be. But I can make his cap hit only $6 to $8 million this year, and then like 15 next year, and move on. And then you're going to get to the $30 million at the end. But that money won't be guaranteed because only the first 3 out of 5 years is going to be guaranteed, probably.
Yeah, and he won't make it that far. No, never mind. Yeah, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, so I see what you're saying, and we saw
in-house mathematician. So that's the good part, right? We got Parag, who does this magic shit with numbers.
I think overrated, but I get you.
Well, he may be overrated, but I haven't seen that. I mean, it's not his fault that we sign certain players, but I think the contracts that he works out for the most part end up being team in favor of the team versus the player. Why didn't D Ford have more outs in that contract? Because he did have that lingering injury history. I couldn't tell you. Was it desperation by the Niners to get an edge guy? Like I just don't know. It's so strange, man. It's so strange. Right. I would have to go back and look at the full contract, because like if you go to over the cap, it does have like underneath the grid that has all the numbers in it. At the bottom underneath there'll be an ad, and then underneath that it'll have like all the, this year's salary is guaranteed. This year has an injury. This is their signing bonus. These are their roster bonuses and stuff like that. Because like last year we got a bunch of credits for Sherman missing all those games because he had a $1 million roster bonus. And if he wasn't on the roster, he didn't get that money. So that's all money that comes back to the team. Jimmy had the same thing. Kittle, we got a couple of games. Mostert, we got a couple of games. Mm-hmm. So that's part of that. It's in there. Ford, we got money back because he did have that in there, but it wasn't enough to compensate for the money he was getting paid. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So, all right, man. I like it, bro. I think today was a fun show. I think we talked about a couple of things. We always wrap it up, where we want it to be. Usually has to do with the main subject. And tonight there wasn't a whole bunch to talk about as far as the main subject, but I did want to know who you were looking for in the free agency pool. And the don't you say it. I didn't see it. Maybe you saw it in there. Where's Nick? Oh,
I didn't see it. I bet
didn't
you
see
thought
it.
that we
Well,
were going to say that about the quarterback, didn't you?
I didn't know what you were talking about when you said that. I was like, I know that you were having the episode named that, but I didn't know what it was in reference to.
Yeah, I didn't see it in there, so that's good. But yeah, so that's it. That's all we got for tonight, guys. We want to thank you all for rocking out with us. You guys are the best. We're gonna bring you guys. We're gonna bring you guys a fan interaction show very, very soon. Maybe Sunday. We'll see what it's like. I'm on call for this new company for the first time tomorrow and Sunday, so I didn't want to plan anything because this place does so much more than what my previous job did, and I was always busy with on call, so I'm just afraid of what it's going to be like now. You know what I'm saying? Let's see here. Logan Hanna says with a $5 contribution, thank you. How much more competitive is the division with Stafford going to the Rams? I will go out on a limb right now and say that the Rams win the division by 2 games.
Okay, I'm out.
No. Come on, you got to give them your opinion. That's Mike's opinion.
Nobody's gonna like my opinion.
Stafford, and
the crew doesn't like my opinion. Listen, this is the way I look at Stafford, and being with the Rams. I got it. Goff said whatever he said and pissed off McVay, and McVay was like, "Get out of my house." And he went away, and they brought in the next best player that they felt fit their system. I personally, this is just my opinion, feel like they're going to regress this year. I do not think that Stafford is better. I think they're better off with Goff.
Okay, just explain to me how you come to that conclusion, and then I'll let you go. I won't rebuttal at all anything.
I'm not going to explain. I don't have a way to explain it. It's just when I see them play, and I'm not talking like film breakdown. I'm watching the All-22. When I watch a game, I think that Goff was a better player in that system and showed a lot of heart playing through at the end of the season there with his thumb. And a lot of people won't agree, and the pontiffs won't agree because they all think that Stafford walks on water. Apparently, he's just been dealt a bad hand. That's fine. I don't care. And I'm sure I'll get it in our group chat too. But I just don't. I think they're going to regress. I think that they let go of a guy who could have led them back to the Super Bowl again, potentially. And they took a guy who has a ceiling that has apparently never been reached. And I think they went on a limb, and that limb's going to snap. That's my take. But what I want to say for my final thoughts is to the chat. It's going to be a long 4 weeks, roughly 4 weeks, until free agency opens. 15th of March is tampering season. Till we get there, it's going to be a lot of the same repetitious stuff. Just bear with us. We'll try to make it as entertaining as possible and bring you guys good information as soon as it drops. And thanks for being there. Absolutely,
man. The crew, the viewers out here, this isn't their first rodeo. They know how we get down over here at Nothing But Niners. We promise you guys the mock drafts and all that stuff. It's coming, guys. You guys are going to get tired of that too. It's all coming. It's all coming. But we're in this for the long haul. And there's going to be other news to discuss. I promise you guys. Just like every single day, there's something that's out there that we can bring in and sprinkle into the show. And it's going to continue. I promise you guys that. The NFL season is not just 4 months, 5 months, if you count the postseason. It's also about what? It's also it's a 12-month product. The NFL is a 12-month product. So we're going to be back. You guys make sure you're strapped in. My final thoughts for the night are just, again, what I started the show with. Everybody out there, be safe, especially if you're in any of this inclement weather. Take care of yourselves. Prayers out there for people who are going through worse stuff and worse conditions than they've ever had to deal with before. So you guys take care of yourselves out there. Take care of your families. Hug somebody. Tell them that you love them. Don't let today be your last opportunity to say something that you should have said a long time ago. All right. That's going to do it for us tonight. We're going to get up out of here. Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
Remain faithful.
We're out of guys.